Welcome to Rocket Fuel, everyone, where we fuel your focus and fire up your business. I just want to remind everybody that this is a broker agnostic community where everyone comes together every single Monday from 9 a.m. to 12 Eastern or 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern.
Easter.
And it's where we all gather. It's Amy, Joe, and I bring together the best speaker in the industry. And if you're not following United Community on Instagram, make sure you do because we always have things happening and you get to see what's happening next week and you don't want to miss it. So I'll turn it over to Amy Youngren, my business partner.
Awesome. And
Whoop,
also
whoop.
just shout out if you see anybody with a United Community Builder backdrop on, we just want to shout out to all of our leaders in the various locations across the US too. We're really grateful. And that also means, guys, that if you want to participate or attend a local United event, we have them happening at all different times, all different locations. So reach out to any of our community builders. You can check out those locations and those events at our website, UNTD.com. All right. Guys, I'm really pumped for today. I know I say that a lot, but that's just because we just keep bringing the fire every single week. But today's session, I promise you, it's not going to be about just creating more content or making more videos or generating more leads. It's going to be about actually learning how to stay visible and leverage all of those things. Leverage creating more content, leverage community, leverage making more videos, leverage generating more leads, all of those things to authentically attract more clients. And I'm very, very excited about each of these guests. We're going to do something a little different today. We're coming to you Rocket Fuel TED Talk style. So each of our speakers today is going to share for a few minutes. And take the floor, take the stage, take the Zoom room, and then we're gonna do Q&A with each of them. But most of all, guys, we want to make sure that if you have questions throughout, engage, unmute yourself, ask even while they're presenting. I've had the privilege of knowing each of these speakers for an incredibly long time. They are freaking legit. And we are so lucky to have them here and to be able to just absorb what they're sharing, learn from them, and then also to be able to ask questions that will help you do something even more impactful in your business. Rocket Fuel prides itself on making sure, guys, that this is tactical. So we want to make sure that you get what you need from each of these sessions. So all right, I don't want to waste any more time. We're going to dive right in. Our first speaker is Nicole Nicolay. She is the founder of Vale and Vine Real Estate, a small boutique brokerage in Livermore, California. Vale and Vine focuses on community marketing through her 18,000 member community group. Amazing. I cannot wait to hear what she has to say. In the past decade, this girl is legit. I mean, I can say that because I know her personally, but her numbers speak for themselves. She's close over 400 million by herself. She's also, you guys, a 9 times Ironman and World Championship finisher. She builds her business the exact same way she races, through consistency, discipline, and community. Nicole, I'm going to give it over to you.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for that incredible and energetic and all the things. And you're energizing me this morning. And I just feel so excited to be here. Thank you, Amy. I've known you for such a long time through several iterations of my
Both of us.
of our real estate journey, right? Like we connected on the speaker and conference circuit, and I did things, I would say, probably the most backwards way, but maybe you did too in a bit of a way. Like, I started speaking and teaching realtors before I actually became a realtor, but I grew up in a real estate family. I've experienced all facets of the business, and I vowed I would never become a realtor. Um, and here I am. Here I
And
am,
here you are.
2 months out from leaving Compass and starting my own boutique brokerage here in Livermore, California. And so today I'm super excited because this is probably my most favorite topic of all: visibility. Visibility specifically meaning familiarity. I'm not talking about like being famous, going viral. I'm talking about relatability. It's everything in this business, especially somebody's. I love that. Sorry, I just looked over at the chat and Amy Ness is like, I want a birthday dance gram.
You are known for those.
Yeah,
Amy nailed it.
but thanks, Amy. I'll work on that. Okay, so today I'm excited. I'm going to share with you my 5 key principles for developing that visibility advantage. Yes or yes?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. So these are all built from my personal experience. Feel free to jump in. Let's start with number 1. Visibility is not about familiarity, is about familiarity, not fame. So everyone's obsessed with creating content right now. Those of us that have been creating content for nearly 2 decades, like, I know for me, I get a kick out of when I see realtors doing really fun, crazy, wonderful videos that get them all the views in the world. But I'm gonna pull that back a little bit and let's focus on just showing up consistently. So people love working with those that they can recognize and trust, and familiarity is what really builds connection. I don't try to go viral in my business. I just try to be recognizable and relatable and consistently myself across every platform. So if you ask anyone to describe me in my sphere, or anyone that follows me, they would instantly be able to tell you from looking at my Instagram or my other profiles, Nicole's a realtor. She leads a community group, Love Livermore. She's an Ironman triathlete, and she goes all into all these things. So it's really easy for people to immediately know who I am right off the bat, even with not really absorbing all my content just from landing on my profile, because everything that I share in my profile are those buckets. And for me, clarity beats complexity. And I feel that when we are trying to do all these things and share all these facets of our life, it's really hard for people to know what you're all about if you're trying to be everything, right? Um, so I really try to put, and this is something I even teach my own kids now that they're 20 and 22, putting themselves, organizing who they are online. If they really want to connect with people, build relationships, get themselves out there, be recognized for something, what do you want to be recognized for? And put those things that you want to be recognized for into 3 buckets. And I've probably shared this strategy for 20 years, but I've always said it's about your 3 Ps online: your profession, your personality, and your passion. And try to put yourself in those 3 buckets when you share online. So people get to know that personality side. For me, that personality side is how I interact with the community, the things that I do, and how I interact with people online and out in the world. My personality, that's definitely my personality. My passion is definitely racing and cycling, riding, doing all the things. And then my profession is also real estate. So, is everyone having sound issues? Sorry, I'm getting distracted by that. I just want to make sure everyone's
No, I'll keep an eye on the chat for you, but so you don't have to look at it. No, we're not having sound issues.
okay. Good.
Sorry.
I just want to make
Yeah.
sure everyone's good,
No,
that it's not me.
no, you're good. You're good. Can you just say the 3 Ps one more time?
Yeah, so 3 Ps are your profession. Obviously, we have no problem sharing about real estate, right? But then
Yeah.
beyond that, your personality and your passion. And it doesn't have to be exactly those three things, but I find adding elements of your personality help people relate to you. Adding what you're truly passionate about, that energizes your profile and makes people want to watch more. It also helps us connect with other like-minded people that share the same passions. So really just trying to make sure when you share online that it's a third, a third, and third, and you're really putting yourself out there in all those elements. So again, not everywhere, not everything, just consistently you. Okay, number 2, top of mind is built between transactions. So this is taking those 3 buckets, our personality, our passion, profession, and adding in that element of authenticity by sharing everything in between the transactions. We're really good at sharing our new listings and how we're busy in this business and how we're helping people, but we also need to be sharing what we're doing in those quieter times, in the non-transactional days, and on the ordinary Tuesday. So for me, I talk about my local life. I go riding my bike all the time, sharing things like that. And I've built a community first platform, Love Livermore, as you mentioned, that we don't sell. We are always serving, and I position myself as a resource to the community, and I'm always guiding. So we have 18,000 members that have opted in over the last 7+ years to our Facebook group. We have and we just share people, places, and experiences and curate the good vibes. If you're negative, I kick your ass out. It's just that simple. And so we're other places though online too. We're on Instagram, YouTube, etc. But the biggest thing is really sharing those personality and passion elements. So when I'm training, when I'm going to the pool at 6 a.m., when I'm riding my bike with friends and neighbors and people, sharing those elements in between the transactions is what really connects people to who I am authentically and what I'm all about. And I had a lady call me last week and say she moved out of the area, and she called me and said, I'm trying to move back to Livermore. And I said, how did you find me? And she said, well, on Instagram, you're the one that's always sharing your bike rides around Livermore, and you're always trail running in our beautiful green hills, and it makes me miss living there. And I love watching your stories and connecting with that. So I figured you'd help me get me back there. So really just visibility didn't shout out. It reminds people to continually tune into you. So the action I have for you is to really choose your niche, your passion, and become known for it. So beyond just, being the badass realtor you are, and maybe a community advocate, which I'm going to dive into next, because I think being a community advocate and sharing community information is very, very prevalent right now. Obviously, everyone's trying to do that. But I think a hard part of that is that I see people trying to do everything in the community without honing in on like what's their specific niche in the community. What are they really passionate about in their community? You don't have to share every single business. You could focus on specifically something that really, breeds excitement for you that other people can connect to. So that brings me into my number 3 principle is community is a conversion strategy, which we know people, when they feel connected to you, they choose you. So in highlighting what I do in the community, I'm actually weaving myself into that part of the community. So rather than like highlighting every single business and here's the 5 date nights or 5 this or 5 that and sharing carousel after carousel online, I'm actually getting into the community. We've featured over 200 different people and places in my community on video over the last 7-8 years. But within that framework of community service, I try to hone in on that exact niche that I want to really connect with the right people that are speaking my language. So obviously I love racing triathlon. So I have infused myself within that community by holding 5K every day run challenges. I MC the Livermore Half Marathon, but I don't just MC the marathon. I provide training plans to my community. I give them resources on places they can go to like get new shoes and get resources and how to have their PR, make their PR happen. I sponsor the mile markers and inspirational signs that you see along the race to let people know I'm encouraging them. And I bring that energy that I have and that passion I have for trail running, racing into a race that's supporting my community where I can feel like I'm reaching out and connecting truly with the people that share those same passions in my market.
Nicole, I'm just in the interest of time, I'm just going to ask a super quick question, like in case this is going through anybody else's mind. But Do you do all of that yourself? Like, do you create all those things, or do you have somebody in marketing or a VA, or how does that all that extra work get done? Because I feel like I just can hear what's going through everyone's heads. Like, I barely have enough time to like get to my showings and organize for listing appointments and things like that. So how are you finding all that extra time, or find not the time? How are you managing all of that?
I think that I'm a little spoiled in the fact that I came from owning two marketing companies. So I am my own content machine and I don't try to make things perfect. I just try to get them done. I'm
Get it
not
done.
trying to like spend 5 hours creating in edits or reels, like creating something. I'm trying to do things on the fly as they naturally happen. But I am also creating a specific content plan that is monthly, quarterly, and annually. So I know exactly who I'm going out and connecting and what pieces I'm creating that showcase those other elements other than real estate.
Yeah,
So
perfect.
I mean, I do feel people like are like, "Oh, that's so much." And now that I have agents that I'm training, I'm having to share with them tools and resources and ways that they can create content to connect as well. And easy things to do. So I would say, and this kind of leads into, you know, to my next tip, which is your face is your funnel, and that is really being authentic. So to your point, Amy, like I do use AI. That's one of my tools that I use, but I don't use AI to create. I am the rough draft. I create my content, I create the vibe. I have the plan of what I want to do and create and how I want to connect with people. If I'm creating a video script, if I'm writing a post, I start with me. I am the rough draft and I'm always writing it first. Then I put it into AI to finesse it, to help me make it shorter, make it quicker, make it more edited. So that's my editor, but I'm always the rough draft. And I hope most people treat it like that. But when I look out in the social sphere, I often see like, oh, I can tell this is complete. You can tell when it's all AI written, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Um, but in terms of just like creating content, like I said, I'm just using my phone. I'm just using simple tools, tripod, microphone, little lav mics that I attach from DJI, and I'm just going out and leave that bag in my car and drive around. And as I create content, I'm using it in the moment when I have it. So just trying to keep it simple and not overproduce. Um,
Well, and you kind of nailed it with the done is better than perfect, right?
I mean, I'm not going for perfection.
Yeah.
I'm going for connection. And I've always found that uh, the more I can just get it done and get it out, and the
Hmm.
more broken down it is, the less perfect it is, the more interaction I end up getting. The more produced it is, people just feel like they're being sold to. There's always a
Yeah.
time and place, I'm not going to do a shitty video for my listing, I'm going to do a nice produced video because that's what my seller's going to want. Um, so, I mean, and I also am just creating when I'm out, there's always things that are happening. So I'll use my phone and just take a photo as things are happening and often save that content for later that I can pull in after the
Yeah.
fact, you know?
Yeah. Love that.
Um, but
Guys, get
then,
your questions ready as Nicole's jumping into her last point. Get your questions ready because we want to make sure that we can, have a couple minutes with her before we move on. But I know you said you've gone
yeah,
to,
my last one is really just visibility without strategy is just noise. And so that
right.
just really comes back to like making sure that you have an intention built in or a call to action built in and intention built into whatever you're posting. So, I'm not selling, but I do have an intention and a strategy with each post.
Hmm.
I'm going to use the way I speak, but I'm also going to ask people if they need help. But I'm not going to be like, comment local and I'll DM you my local guide in every single post. Instead, I'm going to connect it to a strategy that works best for me. And for me, I still love email. So I've been sending an email newsletter for the last 356 weeks in a row, every single Saturday. And so when I'm creating content and putting content out there, I'm circling back to signing up for my newsletter, which has grown tremendously over the last 8 years, especially having an 18,000 person group. You know, most of those people have joined and become members of my newsletter. So
Yeah.
that's always something that I'm tracking and looking at the numbers, looking at my open rates, looking at what people download, because I insert pieces in there every single week that people can download. So the market activity report via RPR is in there. So when people download that, that has the open health schedule and market activity new listings, I see who's downloading that over and over, and I know how to react. So there's things that I'm measuring on my website, on my newsletter, and in social as well.
The number one thing that's like going that's hitting me right now is that, guys, you don't get the results that Nicole gets without being willing to do the work and to show up as yourself. Like, just she
Yeah.
just continues to show up day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. And it's like feel like that Nicole is the definition of, like, when you hear that line, oh, it took me 10 years to become an overnight success. Because for 10 years, she had the discipline and the consistency and the work ethic to keep showing up authentically. And now it's just like the results are speaking for themselves. It's just, anyways, does anybody have any questions for Nicole that they want to dive into before we move to our next guest? What do you react to? Oh, I missed it. Sorry, one second.
How,
How
what
do
do
you,
how or what do you react to those who click to download the listing or reports?
Well, first of all, I have a form that I have an automatic email that I get every time someone downloads one of my market activity reports or something. So it's sent to me in my phone. I look at who and I have an autoresponder set up, but I also send them a personal email and reach out to them. And usually it's somebody that I've already known or maybe softly know, or if it's not anyone that I know, then I change that response to them. So I'm monitoring it in a variety of different ways.
awesome. Who do you use for your newsletter, and how do you make sure it doesn't go to spam?
I'm probably so old school. I still use MailChimp because I've been using it for like 2 decades. I do have Follow Up Boss that I use, and other things that I'm using in conjunction. But I would say my newsletter is so amazingly curated, because I'm pulling specific amazing things that are happening in my community, as well as inserting videos of the community that I'm creating at the same time, in addition to the sneak peeks of my listings and real estate content. So people actually look forward to getting my newsletter, even if they're not even transacting or have no plans to transact. They still like getting it. So I don't really see a lot of people dump it or,
Unsubscribe.
unsubscribe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get those really.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Guys, let's fill Nicole's bucket, drop into the chat some, some gratitude, some appreciation. Send the emojis through the Zoom screen if you can exactly. Yeah. Diane's got a heart going. We really appreciate it. I'm going to just keep moving right through our TED Talks. Our next speaker is Justin Smith. You guys, he is the #1 independent luxury agent in the Tampa Bay and St. Petersburg area in Florida for the last decade. He has a 20-year background in TV and film, and then he took that, his sort of creative and authentic approach to video, and brought that into real estate, and now consistently ranks him in the top 50 agents in that region, which, by the way, this is really impressive. It is actually one of the highest concentrated traded areas of realtors in the US. And so to be ranking in the top 50 is so impressive. Justin, I'm going to give it over to you.
Thank you, Amy. Hi, United. How are you guys? Yeah, feel free to ask questions in the chat. It is a privilege of mine to be here. Yep, Amy and I go back way, way, way back to when I was still acting in Hollywood and doing kind of the trade show, speaking circuit, and all that when I was like a baby brand new agent. And we've just kind of stayed in touch throughout the years. And so it is an honor of mine to be here. I'll try not to be too long-winded. I'll try to give you some brief little nuggets. But unlike Nicole, I don't have 5 points to speak to. She was amazing. I was sitting here, I don't know if you saw, but I'm sitting here like taking notes as Nicole's talking, as I'm sure a lot of you
Love
are as
it.
well. But so I love learning from all of my colleagues out there from around the country, around the globe. And the biggest thing that I can say about being impossible to ignore and the visibility advantage in 2026, don't overcomplicate it. Be yourself and do what works for you. If what works for you is video marketing, then your most powerful tool you have in your hand is this right here. You don't need a fancy mic, you don't need a fancy, drone or anything like that. Just pick up your phone at your next listing, at your next showing, start batch shooting content. What do I mean by batch shooting? Just start taking video pictures, store it in your phone. You never know when you can go back and get that footage so that you can remain in front of the audience that you're trying to reach. But maybe you don't show up well on your camera. Maybe you're like, well, I don't really do a good job of talking on camera. That the little red light when it comes on or when I hear the boop on my phone, it makes me nervous. Then guess what? Yeah, you should be showing up on video, but maybe you don't. Maybe you just shoot lifestyle shots and you go home and you record the audio, whether you're on Instagram, which by the way, you should be posting across all platforms, not just Instagram, but Facebook, YouTube Shorts. If you're not doing YouTube Shorts, you're missing out. You need to do YouTube Shorts. You need to do TikTok. I know it's a lot to keep up with, but shoot and edit one video, maybe 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute, whatever it is, and then just repurpose it across all the platforms. You don't have to shoot something new for every platform. But what I mean by do what works best for you, if it's not video, then is it door knocking? Is it hanging flyers? Is it cold calling? Is it taking past clients out to coffee? Whatever that is, whatever it is for you to generate leads, to generate prospects, more business, focus on that one thing. Don't be that agent who has to do the video, has to do the cold calling, has to do the door knocking, has to do, you don't have to do it all. You don't have to. Focus on the one thing that works from you and then scale your business from there. I door knocked. To be honest with you, I think I've cold called like once since 2005, since I became a licensed real estate. I hate cold calling. It gives me the EBGBs. It gives me the cringe. I will not do it. But I door knocked. I sat on hundreds of other agents' open houses in the beginning, I started to get until I started to take my past, which was acting. I was in Los Angeles and all about around the Southeast doing lots of big TV, film, movies while I was still kind of like dabbling in real estate, which, by the way, I didn't decide to go full time into real estate until about 10 years ago. Before that, I was part time, kind of on the fence, dabbling a little bit here and there in real estate. But my primary focus was TV and film. Now, I know not all of us have the background of being hosts or actors and being able to like, well, Justin, that's easy for you because you have the background and you can get on top, you can get on camera and, show your personality and have charisma and all that. Not all of us can do that. But your biggest superpower is just being you, So if you show up and you're authentically you, there's only one of you created. That is your biggest superpower. Nobody else on the planet can do what you can do. And your clients are going to recognize that. People are going to see that authentically within you. There's no one else like you on this planet. So just show up and just be you. You don't have to be like, the other agent that you see doing, 10 videos a day, which, by the way, they're batch shooting content. I see agents in my market and I'm like, how do you possibly have time to film so much content? Like, I don't know how, like, are you working? Are you closing deals? Are you meeting with clients? Are you doing the stuff that's going to generate the money? I don't see how that's possible, but whatever works for you, do what works for you. So leading me to where I do now on social media with posting across all platforms, don't forget to post yourself personally as well. I use like a 25-75 ratio. It could be 50-50. Maybe you have more personal than you do business. Don't make it all business because nobody really cares about our pending solds or just listed postings. As agents, we would like to think like, oh, guess what? I'm going to post when this goes pending. I helped a buyer, put a $500,000 home under contract today, which by the way, that also gives me the cringe. But if that's your content, then post something is better than nothing. I personally just won't post anything pending because how many times in how many ways do we know that during that escrow period, we know that can fall out of contract. And then our people who are watching us go, I thought you sold that. I thought that was pending. So that's just me. I don't like to put the cart before the horse, but if that's what you have to post, and that's what you have to post. So we would all like to think, people are watching for us every time we put a home pending or we put up a new listing or we put a home sold. Nobody really cares about that so much. I think post ourselves personally. I think like Nicole mentioned, if you're a triathlete, if you are whatever it is, I don't know, maybe you love your dog, post about your dog. People want to see not just the business realtor. People hire us because, like I said, they're hiring who you are, your authentic self. They're hiring what we bring to the table because we are the only ones that are created like us. No one else can tap into that, just us. And people want to know that they're hiring a real person. People are not hiring AI, at least not yet, at least not that they know of that they would choose. People still need us, the human touch, in the probably the most stressful thing that they'll ever go through in their life, which is buying and selling a house. And they need that human touch. I personally don't think it's a whole other TED talk for another time. I personally don't think AI is going to take our jobs. They're going to make our jobs easier, but they're not going to take our jobs because humans need the human touch during that transaction. So be that human for them, right? Be that relatable human. I'm not saying you got to pick up your phone at 10 o'clock at night when your client's having a meltdown about should they continue with this transaction or not. But you've got to have limits. But be that person that returns a call on time. Be that person that they can relate to. And one of my last points, when you are creating video, I think, like Nicole also pointed out, it doesn't have to be anything slick and produced. I think for 2026, what we're all going to start seeing that has more traction and gives you the visibility advantage is raw, the talking head videos with you're just out here with your phone, you're giving people a tour of your house. Maybe you feel weird about reaching out to other realtors because you don't have your own listing, but you feel weird about reaching out to them. Hey, can I shoot at your house? Which, by the way, you shouldn't. Schedule on showing time or however it is in your local market. Text that realtor, call that realtor, go shoot some content of their listing. Make sure you tag them in it. Hate when I see realtors post stuff and they're like, well, is this your listing? Is it not? And then they, like to think that it is their listing, but it's not, it's somebody else's. Tag that realtor in it, give them the respect, tag them in it when you post their video. But if you don't want to do that, go post at your local favorite restaurant next time you're eating there. Just shoot a couple quick shots of the food and tag them in it and be that local market expert. Because that's the other thing I think people are looking for right now is not just the expert, but they're looking for the expert with experience. Also, like Nicole pointed out, they're looking for people who remind them of home. Maybe it's an old referral that wants to move, back to where they relocated from several years ago. And they're going to look to you. They're going to look to your page, which, by the way, when you have your Instagram handle, your TikTok handle, your YouTube handle, make sure that you're putting your name on there and what you do. Realtor, real estate professional, real estate advisor. People need to see exactly who you are and what you do and the market you're in before they even have to go, scrolling 10 pages down into your channel to find out who you are and what you bring to the table. Now, my Instagram handle is Hey Justin Smith, which feel free to go there whenever you want. Give me a follow or a share or whatever. So my YouTube handle is Justin Smith, but right in my name it says Justin Smith, real estate, Tampa Bay, St. Petersburg market, and then you can go scroll down and see everything else that is that I bring to the table. With my videos, I do a good mixture of the raw talking head stuff, but I'm also bringing to the market, I'm doing what I call ninja style videos. And what I mean by that is I'm usually doing a creative teaser up front in my video. So for my listing videos, I always do in the beginning, it's sort of like a TV or a movie teaser. You know how when you turn on a television show, the first 30 seconds to a minute really has nothing so much, it kind of sets up the plot. So I like to hook people in with their video before I just jump right in. I'm like, hi, welcome to 123 Banana Street. This is a kitchen. Like, nobody cares. People are scrolling. They've already seen this video a million times. And I'm also not really using AI too much in the beginning. I think we're starting to see a little too much AI. You know, when realtors are posting these videos now, and it's like them standing in front of an empty lot, and then the house explodes behind them, or a helicopter drops it in behind them. Like, come on, we're not fooling anybody. We know that's not real. So I'm trying to do stuff with my creative background, which allows me to still pull from that time in television and film in Hollywood and bring that to what I do now for the last decade. And I'm actually giving people a reason. I'm hooking them in to continue to watch my video. And sometimes they're watching the full video without knowing they're even getting a house tour. And that's really what I love to do, is to bring that creativity to my videos. But it kind of hurts what I do, because it doesn't really hurt. But now when I show up to a listing appointment, it's what I've become known for in my local market here in Tampa, St. Pete, is I actually really love it when I leave a listing appointment and the seller doesn't mention anything about my videos or any of their expectations. Somehow I just landed in their lap and they decide to work with me because, I've related to them. They like what I bring to the table. But 9 times out of 10, before I leave that listing appointment, that seller is now going, hey, oh, I saw this video that you did, the one where you're like 007, or the Miami Vice one, or the Top Gun one, all these videos. And I can't wait to see what you do for my house. It's at that moment that I take a big gulp, because I'm like, oh, because we all know that, not every house is inspiring. I'm sure there's something we can think of for all of them, but some houses just inspire more. So, when I get those sellers, it's like, now I've got to do something, because I like to treat, whether it's a $500,000 listing or a $5 million listing, I like to give them all the same red carpet experience from A to Z throughout the entire transaction. And I like to bring that same creativity and, quite frankly, what they're hiring me for with those videos. But again, whether you're bringing the professional camera, you're writing your scripts, you're producing it. I write and produce and host or act in all the videos that I do. Those are my listing videos, but then I'm also doing the talking head. I'm doing the raw videos. I'm doing the content where it's not me on camera. Maybe I'm voicing it over. I think when you do like a nice cross pollination of all of that, that's really going, and just consistency, just keep posting. As long as you just keep posting, you're going to be impossible to ignore. People, I know I said in the beginning, like, how is that agent able to do so much of that? Do they even work? That's where batch shooting really comes into play. Save it for the time when you're not doing anything, so that it looks like you are continuing to work and you're continuing to have that business in those slow times, because we know it's not pedal to the metal all day long. There are ebbs and flows in this business, and you will have time to post more. So make sure you are batch shooting a lot of that content so that it's relevant, so that you have something to post for your audience. And that's how you're going to get those followers. That's how the lead funnel is going to start into your DMs or into your emails. Make sure you have a way for people to contact you in all of your social channels. But yeah,
I'm just going to jump in and say this because Justin, when you were talking about just being like your authentic self when you're jumping on camera and just being raw, and Nicole even touched on it. One of the best pieces of advice, guys, of what is working in 2026 as far as content goes, if you're like, I don't really know what that even means, like how do I be my authentic self? Put up your phone and FaceTime somebody. FaceTime your friend, your spouse, your kids, your niece, your nephew, whoever it is. That's the style of authentic communication that the algorithm is really driving right now. If you are that raw and unplugged with how you're communicating with, just like you would if you were FaceTiming with somebody that you love or somebody that you're close to, that's the kind of stuff that the algorithm is looking for right now. And that's what's resonating with your followers and the people that are looking to engage with you. So when you were talking about that, I was like, oh, I just want to use that as like a really tactical example, because so often we're like, what does it even mean? But FaceTime, exactly. Get raw just like you would on FaceTime.
So
yeah,
true.
just being yourself, just talking to that person, that one-on-one
Exactly.
experience, because your entire audience, they don't want to feel like they're being spoken at with your hundreds or thousands of followers. They want to feel like they're the only one
Yeah,
you were speaking to in that moment,
yeah,
not, oh, I wrote
exactly.
this script. That's for your listing videos. the raw stuff that's really hitting the algorithms right now in 2026. And by the way, I admit it is impossible to keep up with what the algorithms like right now. It seems
So
like it's
hard.
ever evolving, but I think that kind of always works. People love that personal
Yeah.
one-on-one attention.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Justin, thank you so much. This was so good.
Thank you.
Guys, I'm gonna keep it going. Go follow Justin, go follow Nicole, and then we are gonna end this off on a high with my friend and colleague, Heather Haddon. You guys, Heather is a top, not 1%. She's a top 0.01% agent in the Toronto Real Estate Board, and she's the team leader of Haddon Homes. With actually just like Justin in his market, like with the concentration of agents, we have that here in the Toronto Real Estate Board. Believe it or not, our board is actually the largest board in all of North America. So to be in the top 0.01% is just like unbelievable. She is a superstar. She's also a respected mentor and educator in our industry. She's built a number of successful real estate courses for agents. You're not going to want to miss a word that Heather has to say. So I'm going to give it over to you, Heather. Get you unmuted. There we go.
Thank you, Amy. You're the best. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. Yes, I'm so excited to talk about this because I was just building a course with April, who might chime in on what I'm trying to explain. But basically, in Toronto, I'm sure you've all felt this too. In the last few years, it's been harder to get deals, harder to keep our numbers up. And so like in 2021 and 2022, everything just seemed glorious. And it was like riding a horse through, I don't know, a beautiful woods. And now it seems like you're sort of crawling on the ground and just trying to get deals from wherever you can. And in terms of visibility, it's so interesting because I see it in a different way. Like what we've had to look at is, how do I do the same volume in this market as I did in 2022? And it's just a different thing. And it used to be enough for me to do content and to get referrals from past clients. And I found I was still doing that, and I was still like content heavy and going out and doing all the content stuff. But I wasn't getting the same amount of deals because the market was just bad, basically. So it really made me think about how do I change that, and how do I get more deals, because that's all we really want. And in terms of getting more deals, we all need more leads. And how do we get more leads, and how do we be visible in different ways? So I kind of see it as the way that I do a listing. How do I get the maximum exposure for my listing? I kind of see that as, how do I get maximum visibility in all the different ways that I can get more qualified leads into my pipeline, basically. So I thought about it, and basically what I'm doing now are things that I didn't do before. And so I am emailing my database like 3 times a week, like top of mind everywhere. And I do that consistently. And that's a huge part of this too, is consistency. Like, as long as you're doing it consistently, and like, that's when it works. That's when you actually see deals coming out of these things. So I'm email marketing basically. And then I'm also doing something that I never did before, where I have a certain email list of like my top 500 people in my sphere, and I'm emailing them like twice a month about like the market or this or that. So I'm trying to make it more personal as well. So just trying every way to sort of reach out, be top of mind, and get leads and deals out of it. So
what are some examples of emails that you're sending, Heather? Like, what types of emails?
Yeah, that's a great question. So like last week, I started by sending a like top VIP email. And I I try to do it so it looks like an email and not like a marketed sort of flow desk kind of email. Like I want it to look like it's personal to my VIPs. And I just said, does anyone want to be in my trade booklet that I'm going to send out? I want to support everyone in my top 500. Like, or if you know anyone, that's great. And then this week I'll send them the trade booklet that I put together with like, you know, electricians, plumbers, whoever. And then, you know, I'll probably send them a market report about what I see going on in the market and what I think, or like an interesting sold or something, just to be top of mind and not be forgotten.
And what I've noticed about your emails is that she communicates very like she's talking right now. She just talks super authentically, which is the key, the word that we've been talking about today, and just very like real. Like there's no, it's not this like, I mean, you can have like listing updates and things like that, like where you're featuring a property, but she'll do it in a way where it's just like almost more casual conversation, which I think is super impactful.
Yeah, and it's so interesting because that's all I'm trying to do is be authentic, and that's why, like, if you know me well, like Amy, you know that I never dress up like a realtor, and I call it my like tickle trunk, where I would literally years ago dress up in like an outfit with like clip-on diamond earrings and pretend that I was a realtor, and now I'm just myself, and it's the easiest to be, and I want that to be presented in every sort of way. So yeah, so there's that. So I'm trying to be more top of mind in other ways, because for me, you know, with referrals and with content, it was hard for me because it's unmeasurable. I can't always see I know it is working, but I can't measure it as much. I wanted deals, and I wanted them now. So this is why I did the email marketing and the personal sphere stuff, and then content daily. And then I run ads to get leads in that way. And so it's all about using everything I can to get leads in every different way. So content, email, ads, agent referrals. Another thing we're doing that we never did before is direct mail, because I believe that now mail is actually the thing that we don't do anymore. So it's like I'm sending letters and things like that, and they're working. Not like a flyer, but a letter saying we have a buyer and this is what they're looking for and blah blah blah. And it's way cheaper to do than flyers. And for 100 letters that I send out, I probably get at least one call now. So that I'm finding great. So it's like using all things to generate business in different ways, and it feels way better for me because it's all working to feed the pipe. And you know, we want deals and we want them now. So I feel like being visible in all ways ensures that I get more business.
In your, I know you have a course called Infinite Pipeline Mastery. What are you teaching agents? Are you teaching like all of these angles, or are you getting them dialed in on something specific for the leads to be flowing?
Oh yeah. So like basically in the course, we go through like the infinite pipeline means we basically talk about how to feed the pipeline, then how to nurture it, then how to take the nurture people and close them into clients, and then how to scale that. But there's a whole bunch of things that you can do to automate all these things. Like, this sounds very overwhelming, but you know, part of the course is that we've developed ways to do all of this in a way easier, less overwhelming way. But the thought behind it is to feed your pipeline in every way possible so it just grows and grows and you're consistently doing it so that your business thrives and you're not worried about the next deal as we all do, and that you also aren't of labor and time to it as well because you want to have a life.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, do you have any questions for Heather based on what she's sharing? I know I can understand, like somebody said, like direct mail seems like a waste of money, and maybe it does for you based on how your business is structured or where you are in your market. But Heather's point is legit, and that is that everybody is being inundated now digitally. So mail is actually the thing that is helping a lot of agents stand out in their market. It does come at a cost, absolutely, but what doesn't? Like you have to
And
spend money to make money.
the other thing is that like we just get a person to actually hand deliver. Like you can hand deliver 100 letters and it's only on white paper, right? So,
Yeah.
and if anyone here wants the letters that we use that are actually working, I'm so happy. Like anything you need, if you want like a copy of the emails that we send to our database or absolutely anything, I am here to share everything, anything, whatever I can do to help.
I think
I
April
really,
just dropped your website there so people can reach out to you through your website, through your
Yeah,
Instagram. I know
sure.
you shared that as well. Um, Heather and April are always giving away so much value. There's so many, they may have a course, but they give way more away for free than they do from their course. So like
Mhm.
there's so much opportunity to like work closely with them and then also like learn from them as well. Guys, any questions for Heather before we kind of bring things to a close?
I know that like we all talked about visibility on this call that creates obviously familiarity and attention. So let's say there was an agent that was listening and said, Raquel or Nicole, Justin, Heather, I've been posting, but my stuff isn't converting. It just seems like it's noise. What would your advice be to the agent that has been posting but isn't getting that content to convert or build those relationships or build that community?
You know what I thought was so cool about Nicole and Justin? When I listened to them both speak, they are both doing really niche things. And that is what is getting people to recognize them. And like, that's why they're so successful. It's like, if you're talking to everyone, you're talking to no one. So, how do you like, you have to sort of, you can't get everyone. You have to sort of, I think, be a certain type of person. And if you look like every other realtor and you're posting what every other realtor is posting, you're not going to stand out in the same way.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. I think we get scared of trying to be so niche, but we have to pull back. And I would ask that agent to take a look at who are they trying to talk to? Who is their audience first? Because maybe they're talking to the wrong audience. Maybe they're creating content that doesn't match who they're trying to talk to.
And also, I would just add just consistency and keep going. I think of that little animation we've probably all seen with the guy in the tunnel. He's digging, and there's like whatever it is, diamonds or the treasures on
The
like
pot
an
of
inch
gold.
away. Right. And he's like, and he just stops and gives up and turns around. It's like just your that breakthrough, it's going to come. You have to keep posting. You have to keep digging. You'll find your audience or it will find you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Consistency is literally the name of the game. Thank you guys so much, Heather, Justin, Nicole. This was really great. There's accolades coming in the chat. People really love this. Thank you for showing up, bringing your A games today, showing up authentically for us, for our community. Guys, we will drop the replay. As you know, we'll send it out by email. It'll be on our YouTube channel within 24 hours. We just appreciate all three of you. Thank you for being such an example of what it means to be a professional in our industry, and then for your contribution today.